Hey guys, I'm Rondy Wooten, and today I'm here to teach you how to play Race to 24. Race to 24 is a strategy and numbers game that uses simple addition and subtraction. The object of the game is to combine cards into stacks, collect those stacks into your bank to accumulate points. The deck is composed of 96 cards, comprising of 6 different attributes. Those attributes are nature, tech, light, dark, cold, and hot. Now the first thing you're going to need to do in order to play Race to 24 is set up your game board. After your deck is shuffled, you're going to deal the cards face down in a 4x4 grid like you see here. Now once you've completed your grid, you're going to deal 3 cards to each player, face down. Don't look at them. Once everybody has their cards, it's time to flip your grid face up and begin playing the game. Now all of the cards in Race to 24 are broken down into attributes. Those attributes are cold, hot, nature, tech, light, and dark. And each attribute has an opposing attribute. So cold and hot are opposing attributes. Nature and tech are opposing attributes. And light and dark are opposing attributes. Now each attribute has an ability. You'll see those printed on the card. When you're combining cards to make stacks, if you're just using the same numbers, like a cold one and a nature one, you could ignore that effect. But if you're combining like attributes, you activate the effect that's printed on the card. All right, the grid's face up and it's time for me to start playing. Let's take a look at my hand. And before I start, I'm going to need to draw a card. I'm going first, so I'm drawing 1 card. The person who goes after me is going to draw 2 cards, and for the rest of the game, we're each going to draw 2 cards at the start of our turn. Now, what exactly can I do during my turn? Well, now it's time for me to start combining, capturing, and shifting. Alright, it's time for me to start combining cards. And I can combine cards as long as they've got the same number, or they're the same color. Combining is done by laying these 2 cards on top of one another, but as long as there's an empty place on the board, I've got to replace it with the top card of the deck. But in order to combine cards, I've got to pay a cost. I have to discard 1 card from my hand to the discard pile. Alright, so I've made a stack, but how do I start getting some points? Well, I need to capture that stack. Let's take a look at my hand again. In order to capture this stack, I need to replace these cards with the proper number in my hand. It's got to equal their combined total. Well, it looks like I've got this 6 here, so that'll do the trick. I've got to take these 2 3s. These are going to my bank. These are my points. The bank will be over here for you guys to take a peek at. Normally you want to keep your points real close, but I want you guys to see how many I've got. And I'm going to lay this 6 here onto the grid. That's how you start getting points. So I've combined cards into a stack, I've captured that stack, and I'm 6 points closer to that elusive 24 I need to win the game. At the end of my turn, every card on the grid is going to be flipped face up. And now it's my friend's turn. He's going to draw 2 cards. Now he can either combine cards like I did, capture a stack, make some points, or he can pass his turn. You don't have to take an action during your turn. My friend's not here, so he's going to elect to pass. At the start of my turn, I draw 2 cards. Alright, now let's get me some more points. I need to combine some more cards into a stack so that I can collect them into my bank. Let's take this 1 and this 6. Those are the same color. Now in order to do that, I've got to remember to discard a card from my hand to the discard pile, and I've got to replace the empty space on the grid with the top card of the deck. Now this is a 7, and the cards in this game only go from 1 to 6. How am I going to capture 7 points into my bank? Well, that's where shifting the value of a card comes into play. In order to shift a value, I first need to pay a cost. That cost is discarding a card from my hand. Secondly, I need to take one of the cards in my bank and discard that as well. Now hold on, those are my points, sure, but this is going to be worth it. Now what happens in this case is actually a bit tricky. If I discard a card in my bank with the opposite element of the card I'm trying to modify, then I'm actually able to subtract the value of this card, meaning I can turn this 6 into a 3. If I'm not using opposing elements, however, I can choose to either add or subtract 1 to the value of the card. Now, in the case of this 1, I can't go into negative numbers. We're only dealing with positive integers here. So let's go ahead and take this 3 and discard it to change the value of this card to 3, because I'm subtracting 3 from this 6. That makes the combined total of this stack, that's right, 4. Now which one of these do I want to use? I'll use 4. I'm going to go ahead and capture this into my bank, replace it with this 4, and now I've got 10 points, even closer to that elusive 24. Now at the end of my turn, all of the face-down cards are going to be flipped face up. My friend is going to draw 2 cards, and play is going to proceed as normal until one of us gets to 24. I'm thinking it's going to be me. And that's how you play Race to 24. Thank you for taking the time to watch this tutorial. I've been Rondy Wooten. You can check out all the links to my stuff in the description and leave your comments in the comment section below, because that's where those go. Take care, everybody.